What would you do if you could do anything you wanted? Would you start that YouTube channel? Would you start that business? Would you leave your hometown or quit that job that you claim you hate so much? What would you do if you could do anything you wanted in life? I have been the world's worst at this when it comes to keeping myself stuck, right? And we all do this at some point in time. We keep ourselves stuck through thought patterns or behavior patterns that we refuse to break because these behavior patterns are largely coming from our beliefs that we have about ourselves and about the world. And in order to break those, you have to recognize that those beliefs are wrong and stop accepting and validating those beliefs. You have to stop living a life like somebody who believes those things and start living the life that you truly want to live at the end of the day. And there's a lot of freedom when you finally are able to take these perceptions that other people may have and to take these opinions that other people may have of how they want you to live your life, and you put that aside and start living your own life. Because if you don't start living your own life unapologetically, you'll live the life that somebody else wants you to live. And I can promise you that you won't be happy doing that. I'm not happy doing that. I'm not happy living my life trying to please other people because I am not them. And the life that they would want for me is not the life that I would want. Most often, what you will find is the life that they would want for you is not the thing that's going to make you the most fulfilled or the most happy at the end of the day. There could be exceptions to this where, say, for example, you work for a company that you are really passionate about. You really love this company. The owner of the company is an amazing person, and you cannot wait to wake up in the morning and go to this company, to go to your job, because you're creating a real impact on people's lives. Maybe in that case, it's a little different. But in the case of a lot of people, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself, are you really happy with where you're at? And if not, who is really the person to blame? Who is it really that has caused you to be stuck where you are at? And you have to come to this realization that it's not anybody else's fault that you are where you are. It's your fault that you are where you are. And once you can truly accept that, that's when you can start to change. So, for example, I could record this video on YouTube and never post it because of the fear of what if somebody happens to see it. But who really cares at the end of the day? We are all so caught up in our own lives that we can't even really pay that much attention to everybody else's life. You think that everybody is paying so much attention to you when really they're not. In most cases, they're not. They're living their lives, and you are just a character in their game at the end of the day. So, what would you do, honestly speaking, if you couldn't fail? If you really believed in yourself and in the potential that you have as a human being, would you be living your life in the way that you are right now, or would you be changing things? I'm not necessarily saying you go out and you quit your job tomorrow. I understand you have bills to pay, and I do too. But what I am saying is at the same time, what are you doing outside of that to better yourself and to really live up to the full potential that you have as a human being? Because we weren't meant to be mediocre. We weren't meant to live this meek life, especially when you're a man. You weren't meant to live this life of comfort as a man and just sit around and binge Netflix and TikTok all day and work a cushy job where you don't really have a lot of responsibilities or a lot of stress because maybe that job is comfortable, but it's bad and you don't really feel fulfilled by what you're doing, but at the same time it's comfortable and it's not really pushing you. And that's the trap that a lot of us fall into. We get a job that gets a little bit comfortable, and then it's like a drug. It keeps you stuck and it keeps you coming back because it's giving you just enough of the thing that you need to be able to make it a little bit longer. and to make it a little bit longer, but it's never really giving you that fulfillment that you want because it's not the thing that would make you fulfilled. So you have to ask yourself, what is it that you really want? And what would you do if you could do anything you wanted? Where would you go? Would you stay in your hometown? Or would you find somewhere else to live? And you have to also ask yourself, as you're coming up with reasons not to do that thing, why is it really that you were telling yourself you can't do that thing? That's what you got to get to the bottom of. Why is it you can't start that business? Is it really that it's too hard and there's no way for you to do it? Or is it that you were trying to make excuses in your mind and validate those reasons on why you can't accomplish the things that you want to accomplish? Because it feels more comfortable to stay where you're at. It feels more comfortable to not change something. It feels more comfortable to not get out of your comfort zone. And what you will find that will happen is the longer you stay in your comfort zone and live a comfortable life, the more miserable you will be at the end of the day. The worse you will feel, the more anxious and depressed you will feel, and the less fulfilled you will feel versus if you are doing things that give you an enjoyment and set you on fire that maybe are less comfortable. Pushing yourself just a little bit to get out of your comfort zone and go be in a place where maybe you don't know anybody, or to leave that job eventually and find a new job, to start a business on the side that you've always really wanted to do, but you just hadn't taken the action, you hadn't taken the steps to do it, or to really figure out what you've got to do to start it. Okay, maybe you don't have the money to do it the way that you wanted to. Have you tried to get the money from somewhere? Have you tried to come up with a plan on how to come up with the money, for example? And I'm not giving you financial advice or anything like that, but a lot of these excuses that we come up with are just excuses in our minds telling us not to live up to our full potential, because our full potential scares us. And we've been programmed by society to not want to live up to our full potential. What do you think this device that I'm recording this on is doing constantly? It's making you feel comfortable doing nothing, right? And we've all kind of fallen into this trap. I've fallen into this trap too, of just sitting here and scrolling on TikTok, for example, or YouTube or whatever it is, when I have nothing better to do, it feels like. But what is that doing for my life? How is that productive in any way? It's not. It's not giving you anything of value. It's just a distraction to distract you from the reality of your own life, and to distract you from the reality that your life isn't where you want it to be. So I think we have to recognize also that it's only going to be as hard as you make it. If you want to change your life and you want to be successful, and you want to do something with your life and make something of your life, it's only going to be as hard as you make it to be. And that's the hardest part for you to recognize, is that you are the one in control. You are the one who's writing your own story. You're the one who's making the decisions every day to either move yourself closer or farther away from your goals, or to keep you stuck where you're at. And for some of us, it may take years to truly change. For some of us, it may be something that happens quickly. For every person, it may be different. But you have to recognize and accept that you are the one at fault, and you are capable of changing your life and achieving anything it is that you want to achieve.